Hey guys, good morning. We are harvesting vegetables today for our meal. We love eating fresh food, and we thought this was a good opportunity to take you along for a harvesting video with us so you can see what we are pulling. We actually already got started, and that was when I realized, okay, I'm about to pull a bunch of stuff. I better bring everyone along. So I'm going to take you back in the kitchen real quick and show you what we already have on the counter, but there's a ton more to come now. Bear with me, you guys. For those of you who know us, you'll know that the boys will be screaming in the background. If this is your first time stopping here, we have 3 parrots inside, and they're very, very vocal, and they don't always cooperate. They are so noisy right now that I can hear them across the yard all the way back into the garden because they make it known that they want me to hear them. So we may have to mute your sound a little bit for a second, but I'm going to run back in. I'm going to show you what we already harvested. Then we're going to take a walk back and harvest some more. And I'm going to give you a few tips on a few things. Yeah, Mr. Buddy, I can hear you all the way across the garden. Why are you shouting, pal? Did you eat your breakfast? Did you? Huh? You going to say hello to anybody and talk about flowers? Mr. Buddy, what did he have for breakfast today? He had a fresh cut cantaloupe with salad, and he had broccoli and cauliflower and orange carrots and yellow carrots and freshly harvested green beans and a scrambled egg. Every day they get fresh fruit and scrambled eggs. You be a good boy now, okay? No screaming. You want to go back out while I get a harvest? We can go back out. You want to go back out? Okay, go back out to the aviary. Are you going to be a good boy and be quiet today? Don't scream while I'm trying to make a video, okay? You gonna say hello to everyone? Can you say hello, Aki? Say hello, hello. Hello! The pink one. This guy, are you Alex? Do you give kisses? Give a kiss. Yes, he's a good boy. We're gonna go back out, okay? You wanna go back outside? You want to? Okay. All right, so maybe that'll keep them quiet. As promised, I wanted to show you what we harvested. This huge bowl, it's 2 1/4 pounds of blueberries with a few raspberries in there. These are absolutely incredible blueberries. These peppers here I harvested are pepperoncini. Aren't they beautiful? They were so delicious. You know, I thought that in order to eat these properly, I would have to pickle them, but I sauteed them in with shishitos and jalapenos yesterday. They were so delicious. So I love it that they're actually starting to turn red. There we go. Now we have a bunch of zucchini we're already harvesting, and I already got a bunch. So you can see how many I'll be dealing with just from this morning, and some cucumbers that we got. So one of these, this is a Market More, and then we have this Burpless Beauty. I don't know why it got a little misshapen. Something's going on with the blossoms. And I forget which one this is actually, but it doesn't matter. It's a cucumber. I'm happy to have them. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the first tomato of the year. This is a Park Swapper. Absolutely gorgeous. So it was, it had to be picked because it's going to be raining tonight. So it could have gone another day for redness, but it's ready to eat. And then I got 2 Bonnie Best. It's our first year with Bonnie Best. Again, this was a free gift, this seed from Baker Creek, and I will grow this tomato again. I hope that it's not, you know, gelatinous or too seedy inside, but it looks a lot like the Park Swapper. So, and we have 4 of these plants that are doing extremely well. They're a high-yielding tomato vine, and they really haven't been complaining. No diseases, no problems. They're not splitting early. So, I correct myself. That one wants to be split, but it's okay. I'm excited to have fresh tomatoes. These are store-bought tomatoes. They taste like nothing. So yeah, we're enjoying our fresh peaches and apples. We always have mangoes and avocados on the counter ripening. So here's what's on my counter, you guys. And I'll be making lemonade this weekend. Can't wait. All right, let's go out for a walk and get some harvesting done. Wow, you guys, it's turning out to be a scorcher. We had a reprieve from weather the past few days, but Farmer John's about to start cleaning the fence, which we are way behind on cleaning fences and doors and sheds and all that. So I just came in here to grab my hod. Now, I have to be careful here because what I grab, because not only are we concerned about random spiders, I'll have a video inserted in this spot. We had a northern black widow spider here, and a lot of people are saying that they are nesting in their sheds, so we have to be very careful with how we grab things, but I'll insert the video of that spider here. So I've just come in to grab my hod, and then I'm going to harvest some peppers. Well, I normally like to harvest my peppers much earlier in the day, but I had a million distractions already, all while I started several different projects at the same time, and I just keep getting pulled away from everything I'm doing. So excuse me if you literally see sweat dripping off of me. It's a sauna out here. And really the best time to harvest your peppers is in more early morning to mid-morning. When it gets too hot and they just have too much heat on them, they get kind of mushy and they don't really hold well on the counter. They'll just kind of wilt. So if you pull them while it's hot, just give them a little bit of a bath real quick and kind of rinse them off and let them, you know, come down to room temperature, or even get them into the refrigerator so they stand a little bit longer. But some of these peppers don't really turn to their expected color until they're off the vine and on the counter. Now, some of these peppers are really, really big, so I need to get them off even though they're not as ready as I would like them to be, because it's slowing down the production of peppers forming at the upper canopies. Now, with that being said, this is some abnormal year where I have full-size peppers on the bottom and still babies forming at the top. I'm going to say that the shade cloth had a lot to do with the success of that, and proper watering. Now, peppers can go through a lot of stuff. They do like the heat, but they don't really like the full blast sunshine because they can get scorch. Peppers can also suffer from blossom end rot. They are, you know, a calcium absorbing vegetable. So you want to make sure that after the seed, when you germinate your seeds, they do not need any fertilizer. But after it has built up a little bit of a green canopy, it's actually become a plant and it's no longer a seed, and it's starting to form a root ball and it needs to get potted up. You want to feed them fertilizer early on. Really great for peppers is bone meal and blood meal. Bone meal is to form the fruit, but the most important thing is that they get blood meal as well, because that will help form the green canopy. It needs nitrogen to get started. Phosphorus, magnesium, and calcium are really important for the development of your peppers. Thick-walled peppers like bell peppers tend to get scorch easier, and they don't like as much sun or too much heat because they just go through it. Now, proper watering is also important, but things can happen with peppers if you give them too much water, starting to actually drip sweat. Signs of too much watering with peppers is when their upper canopy starts to turn yellow or your fruit's just not developing right. Now, something called leaf drop can happen with too much water. Last year, in spite of the fact that we had a beautiful start, all of my seedlings were beautiful. We got everything out. It looked incredible. We thought it was going to be a bumper crop. Last year we had the heat dome and epic rainstorms. There were inches and inches of rain. My peppers developed not just yellow leaves, not just some kind of leaf drop, but the beds got taken over with some strange mold and mildew. I was able to bring them back to life. I can attach that video for you. And that was going through a series of blood meal and bone meal and calcium being, you know, fed down into the root ball. You got to like get your dibber in there and really feed the nutrients to the roots. And then I had to be patient. And by the end of the year, I ended up having a decent harvest. But this year's been epic because the rain hasn't been so bad. I'm giving them good amounts of water. Now today we're expected to get several inches of rain between late tonight and tomorrow. So I gave them a little bit of a drink only because the soil gets dried out rather quickly. And it's important that no matter how you're watering, by hand or by slow drip, you want to make sure that your water stays hydrated. You have to keep, not your water, your soil, you have to keep your soil hydrated, because if the surface becomes hydrophobic, it just dries out. It's going to repel whether you give it hose water, if you give it a slow drip, or whatever kind of irrigation that you're going to use. The soil will just repel any drinks of water. So if you keep everything nice and moist, even if you're not giving it a big deep drink, keep your soil moist and healthy, so that it can receive its drink of water and percolate down into the roots. Otherwise, it's just going to repel any water that you give it, and then your plants aren't getting a good enough drink. So I gave them a light drink this morning because yesterday was hot, but I'm going to rely on the rain
to give them deep drink. Now, peppers don't need as much water as many other plants, so they're okay with being in an arid environment. It is beneficial, though, to make sure that your soil is shaded by some type of broadleaf companion plant or shade cloth until they get nice and big, that they start to shade themselves. So anyway, I'm going to pull a couple peppers here for you and show you what we have. So far, I'm in a tight spot, so it's hard for me to set you up so you can see what I'm doing, but this here is a Parks Whopper bell pepper, and this is actually another Parks Whopper bell pepper. This here is a Cubanella or Cubanella, depending on how you'd like to say it. And we have a beautifully peak ripened Jimmy Nardello pepper. So I'm going to continue harvesting from these guys because I know behind the basil there I have some Keystone resistant. I think I have a California Golden Wonder that is not golden yet. And then I have some giant Marconi that I'm going to want to get off of the vine here. But gosh, giant Marconi is a rising star this year, all the way up to the top of the cage. Of course, my battery is dying, but here's what I've gotten so far. I may be flipping over to another frame with you guys, but look, Marconis and different bell peppers. Look at the size of these shishitos this year. Jalapenos. I'm going to go go over to another bed, but I want to talk to you guys more about the things I've learned, you know, by listening to the garden and what it wants as far as peppers. So you might conk out on me at any minute, but listen, don't overwater your peppers. Remember, if it's going to rain and it's going to rain heavily, don't give your peppers a drink. Offer them some shade cloth. We learned this. The garden taught us what it wanted. So this year we gave it what it wanted, which was a little bit of cover and less frequent waterings, and we have the best pepper crops ever. Completely forgot already that I have a whole entirely different pepper bed this year that I have to contend with and harvest from before I forget. And I have enormous peppers in here. So I'm just pulling the coral bells, which are still green, and the ripened banana peppers. I have sunbrights, which are still green, but like I said, I'm going to let them sit out on the counter and see if they ripen on their own. I'm dripping with sweat. It's like a sauna back here. But yesterday I cooked up some shishito peppers that I grew next to the Megatrons. And the shishito peppers for me are usually very tolerable. Well, I thought the shishito pepper was going to burn my face off. Now, if you've had any experience with the Megatron jalapenos this year and anything you grew around it being extra hot, can you please comment below? Because I don't know if this is just my experience or if everybody else is getting this thing. I don't know if the Megatron is creating some capsaicin load. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know what it could be, but yeah, so the shishitos on the other side of the garden are seriously hot and like burn your face off hot. Wow, look at the size of these sunbright peppers. Incredible. It's funny because depending on where they're located, they're a different shape. So I don't really know if I got two different peppers, which is, you know, there was a big thing last year mainly about Peppergate. Everybody ordered one type of pepper, but they got something else. So it's all good though. I'm going to harvest it either way and see if it turns yellow. Well, these pepperoncini plants are really, well, I just have one. I tried to grow 3, but only 1 took. And this one was doing so wonderful when it first started, and then it crashed. It had dozens of flowers on it, and I thought I lost it, but it came back to life. And then I thought, okay, did this somehow get confused with shishito pepper? But it turns out this is how they're supposed to look. And oh my goodness, after they're harvested, sitting on the counter, they turn so beautiful and bright red. I'm going to add a few of these to today's roasted pepper dish to see how that tastes. Well, here is my pepper haul for the day, you guys. Wow, look at this beautiful sunbright pepper. I am just like, this is just so incredible. I cannot wait to get these peppers cooking up today. These are going to taste absolutely incredible. And the Jimmy Nardellos add so much smokiness. My goodness. But you know what? The season of the oven being on at 450 is about to begin. I'm actually dripping sweat, but I went and got my peppers, so I'm sorry if you can see the sweat dripping off me. It's like somebody hosed me down with warm water. It's just terrible. So, but anyway, like I said, you guys, things that you want to look out for with your growing peppers in your crops is too much water, yellowing leaves, leaf drop, mold, and delivering your fertilizers down to the root. Never let any kind of fertilizer sit at the surface and wait for the water to water it in. get a dibber or poke your finger down or something to deliver any fertilizers down. But it's best to give your peppers all of their fertilizers early in the season. And you really shouldn't have to go back and fertilize too much unless your plants look like they're not producing. And at that point, I like to keep it simple and just use bone meal and blood meal and Tums for calcium, or some other kind of calcium remedy that you might be feeding. Anyway, you guys, if you have any questions about peppers, any comments, drop me a message down below. We get back to everybody. So thanks for spending this time with me. We hope to see you in the next video.